Whether you already have the card or you're getting it, these are 18 things you need to do right now. That way you're not leaving money on the table. This ranges from statement credits to perks that take time, like elite status. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm. If you know someone that might benefit, then share this with them. Depending on how much you end up saving them, they might owe you a coffee or dinner. Okay, as a background, there's 5 key windows to be aware of. Think of these as opportunities where if you don't act, the window closes. These are monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, and upcoming travel. The idea is pretty simple. For example, imagine today's September 25th. That means that the month ends in 5 days, and also the quarter Q3 ends in 5 days as well. After that, October starts and also Q4 starts. If you don't use the statement credits you have access to right now, then the window closes and you don't have a chance. For example, if you needed new shorts anyways, you might as well get them while they're hot. Once the clock turns over and the new period starts, you have access to the full credit for that entire period. Semi-annually and annually end up being a bigger deal since the credits tend to be a lot bigger as well. So for example, for the annual credit, let's say it's December 25th, 2025. That means that you have 6 days not just to use the month credit and the Q4 credit, but also the whole 2025 credit. The moment the clock turns over, these credits are all gone, and you have full access to the entire 2026 credit. For a lot of upcoming travel, it's about minimizing headache. I've seen way too many front desk people at lounges or hotels get yelled at, when in reality the person yelling might have forgotten to enroll in a benefit. Also, in case you're wondering why they do this rather than having it on by default, my understanding is that it's partially about payments. So this pretty much acts as a tracker. If you don't need the perk, if you don't enroll, then the bank doesn't get charged. For a lot of the other ones, it's about liability and documenting that you agreed to the terms. Hence the view benefits terms. For example, for the Oura ring, only hardware counts and not the subscription. Okay, with that said, let's do this 2 ways. First, we'll speed run through a checklist, and if you do want the Notion template for this, I'll put a link down below, that way I can send you an email for it. The rest of the video will be a bit more nitty-gritty and detailed. Also a reminder that these are statement credits. They're not handing you a credit, you're spending on your card, and they're giving you a credit on your statement. For example, this is what the Saks one looks like, and this is the Equinox one. With that said, first up, we have the monthly credits. Remember to enroll for the digital entertainment one, and I'd stick it on either Disney+, Hulu, or YouTube Premium. There are other options as well, but those are the ones I use. For the Uber One membership, enroll in their app. We'll get into this later, but I'd recommend doing the annual plan, that way you don't end up losing Uber Cash. Speaking of which, for Uber Cash, just add the card to your Uber wallet. Walmart one's pretty straightforward, just sign up, and if you use it, great. If you don't, then that's fine. So those are the monthly ones. For quarterly, we have Resy and Lululemon. The big thing for both is to enroll and make sure that it's turned on. For Resy, check for options near you, and also talk to your player too and see where they want to go. In my case, Mandy's eyes lit up after seeing some of the options. A lot of them have been on her list and places she's wanted to go to anyways. Also note that the credit triggers even if you don't have a reservation, so you can just walk in and that's fine. For Lululemon, buy what you want or need, and if you need inspiration, I'll link to a few options down below. Most of my everyday clothes are from there and I've had no complaints. Heading to semi-annual, we have Saks as well as the hotel credit, so FHR and the hotel collection. For Saks, enroll and buy something, and hotel collection, book through their travel portal. I'll run through some examples later on in the deep dive. For annual ones, you have Oura Ring, Clear, and Equinox, where you need to enroll. Oura Ring is up to $200 a year. I'd probably go for their Gen 3 ring, which is $199 or $229. I'll link to it down below, and I'd probably get it sooner rather than later, since the Gen 3 supply is running out. For Clear, I'd probably sign up so you have the option for your next flight, and for airline incidentals, I'd go with either Southwest, Delta, or United. Other airlines are fine as well, but those tend to be the easiest. For global entry or TSA PreCheck, sign up when you have the chance, but feels a bit less mission critical. For Priority Pass, Hilton, Marriott, and leading hotels, I'd enroll and just wait for the status. Also add the card to your Delta account, that way it's there. There's definitely a lot going on here, and I'd focus on the ones that are expiring soon. If you want to run the numbers for your situation and how you value different credits and perks, for example, maybe Equinox is down to 0, we do have a calculator on the website. I'll link to it down below, but like all other cards, it should pop up if you Google card name worth it AskSebby. Credit cards are tools, and you need to find ones that make sense for your situation. Even though something might be better, it doesn't mean that it's better for you. On that note, if you want to learn more about cards, we have links on the website AskSebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links and the cards are competitive, but otherwise it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Alright, let's be a bit more surgical with this and start at the digital entertainment credit. For all of these, you're going to see these on your benefits tab on the far right. If you haven't enrolled yet, then it usually tells you to enroll and that it's required. Otherwise, it should say that you're enrolled. For a lot of the ones where you do need to do something, it should show up in the Enroll tab at the bottom. For the new ones, I'd also recommend checking your email. For example, for Resy and Oura Ring, they sent an email once you enrolled. Once you do this, it should show up as a tracker and show the amount that you've used for the period. So in this case, it shows $20 used out of $25, and the total earned for the year is about $98. For this statement credit, there are a lot of options, and I'll run through some of my favorites. HBO Max is a great choice, and I'd probably go for the premium, given that you have 4K and it's under the 25 number. Maybe the standard if you do want to use the credit for other things as well. The Disney Plus and Hulu bundle is also a pretty good choice, and I'd probably go for the premium one for $19.99 a month, given that there's no ads. Speaking of ads, YouTube Premium is also a favorite since I use the platform a lot. Another benefit is that you can play things in the background on your phone without the screen on. You can also download a bunch of stuff before your flights or before you travel, that way you have a bunch of podcasts ready, or to hear someone banter about Costco. If you do have multiple cards, remember to potentially switch for the new services, since I almost forgot. YouTube TV and YouTube Premium are both new, but otherwise there are a lot of other good options, and you can pick the ones that work for you. Out of curiosity, how do you end up using your credit? Okay, for the Uber One membership credit, I'd be very careful. There's a lot of data points right now that it's pulling from people's Uber cash. One trick is to look at the terms. This statement credit is valid for both monthly and annual Uber One membership purchases. So in this case, instead of doing monthly, I do annual and make sure that your Uber cash balance is below what they're going to charge you. It's annoying, but it should work. Also a reminder that these are the benefits it comes with, which might be useful or not depending on you. You have $0 delivery fees, 6% back on rides, and automatic surge savings being the ones I like. But yeah, good to turn on and have it ready since you never know. For Uber Cash, it's super easy, just add the card to your account. The balance should automatically update at the start of every month. Technically the night before if you're on the West Coast, since it's based off Eastern time. If you do end up adding your card and it doesn't show up for some reason, then it might be due to a weird bug. It's not common, but I have seen it happen, so I figured I'd address it. In that case, I go to Account Services, replace your card, and just say you lost it, that way you get a new number. You're not doing anything else weird, you're just getting a new card number. That should work. Probably a super edge case, but hopefully helpful. Also a reminder that if you don't take Ubers, you can do Uber Eat pickup, and that counts. Some restaurants will have inflated prices, so you have to account for that, but some other ones don't, so it just depends on you there. Also, when you do pickup, so whether you're walking there or driving across it, then you don't have to pay a lot of the fees that you do with delivery. The Walmart Plus monthly membership is probably worth turning on if there's a remote chance that you're ever going to use it. The main draws are going to be free deliveries from stores and also free shipping with no order minimums. Also savings on gas and Paramount Plus. I've heard pretty good things, it just depends on where you shop. For the Resy Dining Credit, since it is a new one, remember to enroll, and for most of them, I'd just go down the list and see what makes sense. So find restaurants that work for you and either make reservations or walk in if that's not a choice. I'd also recommend double checking the list every quarter or so, since it does update and some restaurants leave and ones get added as well. The credit that I'm most excited for is Lululemon. A lot of people are having a hard time enabling it, and I'd recommend just going to the app and then scrolling to the bottom for all benefits and then going to that enroll button or shopping. But yeah, otherwise enroll, press the button, and read the terms. Note that this works for US online and physical stores, but does not count studios, outlets, warehouses, event locations, showrooms, and also wholesale. If you're a deal seeker, they do have a sales section that's called We Made Too Much, where you end up getting about 25 to 50% off depending on the item. It is usually the less popular colors or designs, but not bad if you are interested. Otherwise, I go with their staple items, and I'll link to a few down below. You generally can't go wrong with their ABC pants, which work for casual, and even some offices. Commission pants can be dressed up or down and pretty nice. Also, shortening and hemming is free, which is a nice benefit. If you're trying to stay near the 75 number, then Pacebreaker shorts are great, and same thing with License to Train. It's my main workout gear, and I've loved it over the past few years. Even if you don't work out, you can probably buy a windbreaker or something to walk with. Also a bit funny and kind of a tangent, but this weekend I've seen the most guys in Lululemon that don't really know what they're buying or they're very confused looking around than I've ever seen. Yes, there are items for men, and no, it's not just all leggings. Outside of the main ones, I'll link to some other items, but you can't really go wrong. For the hotel credit, it's FHR or Hotel Collection. For people that already have the card, it's been a great opportunity. For example, I booked Vegas back on September 1st, and it posted as a charge and triggered as a credit. It's still showing up as an upcoming trip. The hotel credit just reset as if it was the halfway mark, and you have a full 300 to use now. Even if you use the OG 2025 one, you have a full $300 one to use now. If you're looking for inspiration and you're on the West Coast, I consider Portland. So the Dunny weighs at about 155, maybe sometimes 200, so pretty good about 2 nights for that credit. If Seattle's on your list, then Hotel 1000 isn't a bad choice, and it is part of LXR, which is also Hilton. If you have Hilton Gold or Diamond status, then it's an easy way to stack additional benefits. If San Francisco's on your list, then the Taj might be worth considering. Location-wise, it's not bad and pretty central. If you do end up visiting, I'd avoid the Tenderloin, and you're fine otherwise. But yeah, lots of good places outside of downtown that have great food and tons of nature. If instead of nature, you're looking to party, then consider Vegas. There's a lot of good options, and it's about not hitting conferences or crazy weekends. The newest one would be Fontainebleau, which you can find for about $165. Another one we really like is Palazzo, which is more center strip and convenient. Also note that these are the base price before taxes and fees and resort fees. One a lot of people like is Wynn, but we haven't been that big of a fan, mostly due to the credit. So here it's $150 for spa rather than food like the other ones. If you're looking for fancier and you don't mind being in Resorts World, then Crockford's is a pretty good choice, and it's across the street from Wynn. Outside of the US, Asia's pretty amazing. So Bali has a bunch of pretty fancy hotels that work for the credit and also are going to be in that range. Think Alila's for $300 or Ritz-Carlton's for $300, basically hotels that probably run about $1,500 if it was Hawaii instead. We also really like Hong Kong. The Langham is our go-to for value given the credits and also breakfast. On the top end, you have S-tier picks like Regent, which might be worth a splurge in the $450 range. In 2024, it was named the best hotel in Hong Kong, and in 2025, the #1 city hotel in all of Asia. Yeah, lots of options and happier to do a deeper dive since we have been to a ton of these places. For the Saks Fifth credit, it depends on you. I'd personally look into cosmetics or kitchen stuff or bathroom stuff depending on you or your player too. So a lot of creams and lotions are priced about the same as other brand sites. You could also do colognes, the travel ones test, and then if you really like it, buy bigger ones. If you're fancy, Le Labo is the same price as normal, and if you drink or if you're looking for a birthday gift for someone else, glassware is a pretty easy one. Also not a bad way to add kitchen stuff if that's your jam. Or if you don't care about any of these and it's too much to bother, then ignore it, you can get value elsewhere. The Oura Ring credit is a bit of a tricky one. So one big important thing to note is that it's only for hardware purchases and not the subscription. If you are someone that had an account before subscriptions were a thing, then you do have a free lifetime membership, and that's the position we're in. Otherwise, you can't buy or get a lifetime membership in any other way. If you already have a ring and you're buying a second backup one, then that's fine. But if you are a new customer, you can buy the ring, but there is that fee. You're looking at $5.99 per month or $69.99 per year. To me, the meta right now is to get the Oura Ring Gen 3, which is $199 for the Heritage. And depending on where you live, you might be looking at about $210 or $216. In my case, even though I have one, not bad for a backup. If you are a new member and you need to buy that membership, the benefit is that the first month is free with a purchase. If you do, then great, keep wearing it. Otherwise, it's a cheap test. If you don't want a Gen 3 ring, which is the older model, then you can get the Gen 4. I'd personally go for the silver one or the brushed steel one depending on the style you like. I would recommend avoiding the gold ones since they look pretty tacky in person. For context, this is technically a gold one, but I ended up brushing it off myself because it just looked like a vending machine toy and didn't look nice. But yeah, I think brushed steel looks a lot better whether you do it yourself or you have it done for you and just buy the base one. If you're a girl, it might be easier to pull the gold colors. For the Airline Incidental credits, I'm not sure how much I want to say. So I can spoon feed, I know the information, but I'm also scared to do it because I don't want to ruin it. Hopefully someone can comment in the bottom, but I look into Southwest, Delta, and especially United. I will link to a blog post down below that kind of walks through all this, main rationale being that it's easier to change that blog post if or when they end up changing how this works, and I'll also link to data points of current stuff in that blog post. But yeah, I don't want to make a video that documents it too much, and then it gets closed off and the video is no longer accurate. If you fly 1 or 2 times a year, or potentially 0 times a year, it's pretty easy to use. Also note that if you have not used a credit, then you can change airlines and select a different one. You can do this by messaging them in the chat window. Again, United being the easiest of the 3. If you have used a credit though, so if the bar moved, even if it's $1 or $2, then you can't change it until next year. So if it's at 0, then you can do whatever you want, change it. If not, you're stuck. Clear Plus is pretty straightforward, and I'd actually recommend signing up. I like it, I don't always use it, but it's nice to have in your back pocket just in case. If the normal lines aren't long, then I don't bother, but if it's busy, then it can save you probably 5 to 25 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on how crazy it is. The easiest way to think of it is imagine if you're at a grocery store and in order to get self-checkout, you needed a pass. So this is the pass and you have the option to use it. You have the option to do the self-checkout, but you're not forced to. If the normal line's empty, then I'd rather talk to a person and have someone else do it for me. But if it's busy, then do self-checkout. It's the choice, not the obligation. Equinox One depends on you, who you know, and where you work out. So if you go to Equinox, then very easy. Alternatively, if you have friends or family that go, also could be very easy. If you work out elsewhere though, then the alternative is the Equinox Plus app, so it's the mobile app for guided workouts, where the annual plan is $300. Some people hate it and prefer other workouts, but other people love it, especially people that already go to Equinox, that like the class structure and how they do it, since it's a to-go version of that. If you don't care, then you can skip it and I wouldn't be too worried. Think of it this way, they're giving you this many credits. The annual fee is only, let's say, this much. You don't have to use all of this. You can just use this much or even, let's say, this much, and you might still get value from the card. If you can use all this, then great, but you're not forced to. Okay, moving to the long-term ones, we have global entry and TSA PreCheck. Basically fill out the information and go through that process. For global entry, there is a process there and also a meta depending on your airport. If you already have it from one of your other cards, then consider giving it to a relative or friend. Next up is Priority Pass. Enrollment is required, check the box, and wait for your member number. Digital card can be up to 72 hours and physical 10 to 14 days. Once you get your number, the app is generally fine. Some places will ask for a card, but it's not very often nowadays. It's almost always if there's an issue with the internet or power or something else going on. So for example, in the past, lounges in Asia tended to ask, but I think that might have been due to fraud. I have heard that systems have been updated in recent years, so it should be a lot better. Also, friendly reminder that Priority Pass lounges in the US tend to be pretty mid and also very full. In my experience and everyone else's experience, overseas tends to be a lot better, whether that's Fiji or Mexico or most of Asia. For the other lounges in their collection, I'd recommend having your card with you. The one actionable step is to add it to your Delta account. That way when you go in, you don't have to pull out your card. When you scan your boarding pass, it will automatically get linked. Yeah, going into Delta lounges is super easy and smooth. For Hilton Honors Gold status, enrollment's pretty straightforward. You pull your Hilton number, and if you don't have an account already, if you don't have a number, then just make a new account. Gold status is second from the top, and the benefits are not bad at all. Space available upgrades, generally higher floors, and maybe corner rooms. You also get a daily food and beverage credit, generally in the US, or continental breakfast, generally outside of the US, depending on brand and region. Diamond is a little bit better, but not bad here. Pretty much exactly the same idea with Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite. Add your number, go through the flow, and Gold Elite status is a bit of a middle status. They'll generally upgrade you, but not to suites, and you also get 2 p.m. late checkout if available. Last one is leading hotels of the world, where you're getting Sterling status. The flow is exactly the same, enroll and put your number, and it might take a bit more time here, up to 72 hours. It is their top status, so Club is their lower one and Sterling is the top one. The funny thing is that a lot of the benefits are the same, but you're higher up on the list. On top of this, you get daily continental breakfast for 2, and early check-in and late checkout considerations. With Sterling, you also get 6th Platinum status. For this level, you get 15% discounts at 6th, free car upgrades upon availability, and also exclusive counter and parking. Okay, back to leading hotels, you also get 5 pre-approval upgrades annually. So it sounds like you can lock it in and pretty good there. Also a 5% stay bonus. In case you're wondering what hotels are on there, it's some pretty fancy ones. For example, Capella Bangkok is on there, and it's about $700, which is not that bad in the US, but pretty crazy for Bangkok. At the same time, depending on list, it's considered the top hotel in the world. So yeah, definitely not a bad hotel if you are looking for that upgraded experience. You might already have these if you are booking through FHR, so breakfast and late checkout, but the extra upgrade might help. Not for everyone, but for the target audience and people that travel, it's actually pretty amazing. For example, the Chetty Andermatt is part of leading hotels. We actually ended up staying here last year to ski, and it was a great experience. We did end up booking through Virtuoso, but I'm kind of curious if we could have gotten an extra upgrade if we had Sterling status. Your mileage may vary, find the credits and stuff that work for you. Again, calculator down below or search card name worth at AskSebby and it should pop up. If you want to learn about cards, links on the website AskSebby.com or down below in the description box. If you made it to this point, leave a clipboard emoji for checklist in the comments down below, and I'll try to heart it and also respond. 3 questions: which credits are you focused on right now? Number 2, what are you buying from those? And number 3, which credits do you like and actually use? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite, thumbs up, share this, otherwise hope you liked it. See you next time.